All right, guys, I'm sitting here editing the Vortex versus the Garrett AT Max video, and you will see a head-to-head shootout with the AT Max versus the Vortex. But I believe I found a glitch in the software on the Vortex, and I will show you guys the solution and the problem in this video. But stay tuned. You will see the AT Max and the Vortex head-to-head. And also, if you run into this problem, there's the glitch solution that I found today with the Vortex. So charging times are a little concerning, but stay tuned. Which one do you think wins, the Vortex or the Garrett AT Max? Has Garrett put out a detector that will beat their flagship AT Max? Well, stay tuned. We shall see. All right, guys, I come out here and was attempting to make a video with the AT Max, right, versus the Garrett Vortex. And I had charged my metal detector, and I made a live about it this morning for 9 hours. 9 hours when I made the live stream. And finally, when I got off the live stream, about, I don't know, probably I'm gonna say around 10 hours of charging, it moved to 2 bars. Well, I brought the metal detector out here to compare it to the Vortex. I fired it up. I did a little bit of intro. I'll show you the detector working in just a few minutes with the GoPro when I started to do this video. Well, I cut the detector off and got the AT Max out and run it through the test garden. And then I get the Vortex back out to run it, and look, it's bricked. I've got a bad unit straight out of the box. It's DOA. All right, guys, so we got the new Vortex out here today. I did a live this morning. I ran my Vortex on charge all night long for 9 hours. It was still on 1 bar this morning. And finally, after the live stream, it moved up to 2 bars. So, that may be, I don't know if that's what it's going to be, just a long time to charge it. If he charged his and it took 9 hours to get it to a full charge, mine has been on about 9.5 hours or 10 hours now, because I did a live earlier this morning. And as you can see, it's on 2 bars. So that may be something that we want to look at as Vortex users, is the charge time on this. I know I have a Manicore, and I'm able to charge it with the fast charger that I'm using on this detector in about 5 to 6 hours. And my lab says that the Manicore is 7 hours max charge time. They say in the Garrett manual that 4 hours on this one, but I've got it on a fast charger and I'm at 2 bars. But the question of the day is how does the Vortex stack up to the AT Max? Well, we're going to shake this thing down on camera, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about the manual just real quick. I caught a discrepancy in the manual. Maybe this needs to be looked at. Maybe I'm half blind this morning. But there's a setting, and it's called iron boundaries, and it's this setting right here. It comes at factory default of 2, but in the quick startup guide, I do not see anything about an iron boundary setting, as you guys can see here on the camera. Let me see if this is pulling it in. Maybe I'm blind, maybe I missed it, but I do not see anything about the iron boundary. I got iron audio, iron volume, frequency options, channel, high resolution iron discrimination, and we can see all of that, but we do not see anything as far as this emblem that I can see on this page. So they may want to amend their manual to talk about this in the quick start guide about the iron boundaries. Now, I've been testing off camera, and the iron boundaries has effect on performance, and we're going to show it with a 2, a 1, and a 0. And then we're going to check some iron targets to see if we can catch it falsing, or if we think that we can run it at 0. So let me fire up the AT Max. We'll go over the targets. Then we'll get the new Vortex out and put it head to head. So you guys stay tuned. Give me just a few minutes. I'll show you how I set up the Vortex, and we'll get with it. Dude, I've got a defective unit out of the box. It will not power back on. Look at the screen. You guys see that? Let's unplug the coil. I should have known something was up when that battery emblem stayed up on it. I've got a defective Vortex out of the box, so to see the Vortex versus the AT Max. So I brought it back in the house, guys, and put it back on the charger. Now remember, when I just cut it on outside and ran it for 4 minutes, it had 2 bars. I put it back on the charger and it unbricked. Or it was like if you said it's reporting a dead battery. I don't know, but it's showing 2 bars. Watch. Okay, let me call Iffy Signals back and tell them about this mess. We've got the world famous AT Max out here. You guys see what I'm running at 0 mode, and we're gonna let it rip. I've got some new targets buried here. You've seen me test the other brands. All right, guys, I've got the world famous AT Max out here. You guys see how I got it running? I got it running open. We're gonna run the Vortex open in 0 mode versus the AT Max. You guys have seen me do some testing that follow my channel with the other brand detectors in this, and this is my separation test garden part. I've got depth, I've got small hammered coins, I've got gold coins, I've got silver coins, I got everything in this test garden. But we're going to look at unmasking in particular in this video and see how far it stretches out. I may show you a depth test too, but let's look here. USA penny surrounded by nails. Large cent with 1 nail. This is about 5 to 6 inches. Large cent about 6 inches with 1 nail elevated above it. These are all colonial nails. This is colonial iron in these holes. Let's turn on it. And when we get the coil back off of the nail, the Max hits it. But let's look at it this way. That is the toughest way, and let's remember this way, and we'll see what the Vortex does. This is a 6 to 8 inch silver quarter with multiple colonial nails above it, set above the silver quarter. Very tough test here. Complete fail. And complete fail. Let's come back over here. Here is a gold coin at about 9 inches right here. Let's check this out. Look at the ID on the Max. You guys know the iron range on the Max, and it's down in that. This is a falsing nail. All of my detectors false on that nail, and that's why I buried it. Every brand falses on that nail. So the AT Max holds true to that. Here is a, let me slide this back just a little bit. This is a silver Walking Liberty $1/2 with an iron nail, 3D elevated iron nail. We're gonna go this way. AT Max smacks at, no problem. This is a 10, that's at 9 or 10 inches. This is, the gold coin is at 9 inches too, so just remember that. These are all deep masking scenarios. We start out with the easier ones in shallow. This is shallow, but we'll get to that. This is a USA nickel at about 10 inches with a elevated or multiple nails, no, 1 nail elevated above it in 3D iron unmasking. And there you go. You guys see that. It hits it. Here is a pewter button with a 3D nail above it. These are on the same plane. That's right. These are at depth on the same plane. This has an elevated nail above it. Look at this. Look at the ID. Turn on it. And let's remember this way. See the ID on the Max? Let's remember that. We're going to come down another pewter button at a tougher test, a little bit more depth. Okay, let's get out the Vortex. Stay tuned. So, you guys seen it was bricked, right? Well, I took it back in the house, slid the USB charger back on it, and the thing come back alive with 2 bars on it. So I'm not gonna cut it off. We're gonna do the test. You guys seen the AT Max. I done took it in the house. We're gonna go through the settings. Got the volume wide open. We got the iron volume on 3, multi-frequency, channel 4. We got recovery speed, we're gonna set it on 2. Gonna leave the light off. We're gonna go up here to the iron boundaries. We're in 0 mode, bottle cap 0. Iron boundaries is at factory 2. We're gonna run it at 1, and we're gonna test it. You see where I got the sensitivity? We may come back down, and I don't know why they don't have a key, a fast key for sensitivity, so you don't have to go into the menu. Maybe they'll put that on in an update. Looks pretty steady right there, right? Sounds pretty good, right? I'm gonna put the mic on. Well, it's close enough. I think that it'll pick up. So let's look at the penny. Let's notice the screen. All right, let me get it right there. Nice. This target, I want you to remember, the AT Max coming this way. So let's see. Definitely beats the Max. We see 2 targets there, a high conductor and a Ferris target. That's pretty good, right? Garrett, get this battery thing situated because it looks like it has promise in the test garden right here versus Max. Let's look at a couple of iron pieces. Now, it'll false on the iron this way. And the other detectors will false on those particular pieces that way too. Another colonial nail. Looks good, colonial nail. Looks good, pile of iron. And that's pretty doggone good. So, let's look on this deep nail here. Actually doing good on the iron rejection on that deep nail. Remember, the AT Max falsed on that nail. Look. Way better, right? AT Max is toast. Let's look at this quarter. This is a, let me tell you what I got here. I'm sorry, guys. I am so discombobulated because I've had this battery issue and my machine locked up. Replugged it into the charger and it unlocks. So let me get my head together. Penny with a nail beside it, 3D elevated at about 6 inches, somewhere in a shallower penny. Large cent with a 3D nail, all these are colonial nails elevated above these targets. Large cent, the nail is laying this away, so I'm coming down the barrel. And we hear the machine toning, and we know that the AT Max failed coming down the barrel. Let's look at this quarter. This is a walking or a silver quarter with 3D iron elevated nails. I want this to come back on. There we go. With 3D iron elevated nails around it. So let's check it out. That's pretty good. Now I will show you something off camera. I've tested off camera. So you guys check this out. We're gonna go right here to the iron boundaries. We're gonna go this way. Now this is what I don't know. I don't know if you can run this machine with the iron boundary of 0 in the field and not get iron falsing. Well, actually, let's test it right here. Let's see what it does on this nail. Dude, that's pretty doggone good. Let me check this nail. That's the nail head right there. That's the nail head right there. So let's go back to 1. And I'm going to say that it's matching pretty much what the other detectors do from the other brands on these particular nails. These are falsing nails that I buried on purpose. So we see that with a 0, if it can be ran like that, it's keeping up on that quarter right there pretty doggone good. Now this is a gold coin at about 9 inches with an iron nail. That's pretty impressive, coming down the barrel. The nail is right here, right over in here. Pretty impressive, pretty impressive. Large cent, silver $half, about 10 inches with a piece of iron. You can see it kicking in the iron in the screen too. You see that nail coming in on the bottom, plotting on the bottom? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's look at the nickel. Struggles with that. That's a pretty tough test there. Let's turn this way. Pewter button, shallow. Now remember with the AT Max what it did on this one. The Vortex smokes the AT Max on that particular test. Pewter button this away. Pretty impressive. Let's try it on this one right here. This is a level 5. I don't know if it'll do it. Only the XP Deus 2 does the best on that particular button. That is a very tough test. But very impressive, you know, as far as going against the AT Max here. We need to get this to the figured out to the what's going on with this battery charging thing. Let's just cut it off. You guys see what I got here? Cut that off. All right, guys. That is the Garrett Vortex versus the AT Max. So that's the problems I had, and this is what I had to do to get it running, but it's back up and running. So if yours locks up, try plugging it back into the charger, and it may reset it. I'm going to put it back on charge and see if we can get full power on it, but definitely I would say this is Garrett's new flagship performance detector. We'll get it tested on the beach. You guys stay tuned.